All right, guys, excited to bring you this training here. I'm Coach Vince. Today's training is going to be on lose weight the easy way. If you're a dad with a busy schedule who wants to get your weight down and your energy up, then this is for you. I promise throughout the end of this training, especially when we get down here towards the end, I will break down step by step, meal for meal, bite by bite, what you can and could be eating to really simplify things for your weight loss journey and to help get your energy back up. So stick around here. I promise I'll make it worth it. So warning here, if you do watch this video, a lot of your excuses will no longer be valid. I'm going to squash those excuses. You will be given a strategy that works and will allow you to get results. If you want to keep using your excuses so you can stay fat and lazy, then this would be a good place to stop. If you're serious about getting results, then I promise by the end of this video, you will have practical and tactical tools that you can start implementing today that will not only get the weight off, but keep it off for good. You're going to get real tools here. So if that's what you're looking for, stick around. So we've got three major problems that make weight loss difficult. So let's dive into that. So we're trying to make weight loss easy, but let's figure out first why it's so darn difficult. So problem number one is currently every time you're hungry, guess what you do? You eat naturally. So what we need to do is learn how to eat the right foods that allow us to stay fuller longer. Because if you're staying fuller longer, guess what you're not doing? You're not constantly eating. And if we're not constantly eating, losing the weight becomes that much easier. Problem number two is we have energy crashes throughout the day. And those energy crashes often are led because of some blood sugar imbalances. You eat a bunch of carbs and fat, your sugar rises, and then it falls. And then you eat some more and it rises and falls. And these ups and downs with your blood sugar is really messing with your energy throughout the day, especially midday. So we're going to learn how to have your body better transition into using fat as fuel as opposed to only using sugar as fuel. There's nothing wrong with carbs. There's nothing wrong with sugar. We just want your body to be able to use both sugar and fat as fuel. And then problem number three is this isn't your first rodeo when it comes to losing weight. And in the past, you most likely have been too restrictive or have cut calories too low, which has made you not even want to think about dieting or even think about trying to get the weight off anymore because you're just super frustrated with the process. So I want to be able to show you how you don't have to eliminate any foods. And in fact, my goal is to feed you the most amount of calories that allows you to lose body fat and be able to build some muscle. I'll show you how to do that. So in this training, we're going to simplify strategies around all three of these major problems and make losing the weight easy. So no money required here. I know you're looking to hand me over a bunch of money. No money required here. You're going to get all the tips, tricks, and tools to be able to finally solve these problems once and for all. So real quick here, for any of you that don't know who I am, in that top left picture, that's me, Skinny Vinny here with the MSU hat on. So I was a skinny little kid growing up. I gained about 80 pounds in college, got married to my wonderful bride, started getting lean and mean, and then we were blessed with our kiddo, and I've only since gotten leaner and meaner. So getting married, different jobs, the stresses of having kids, none of those are excuses. You can still get lean. For example, here is a lot of my guys just struggle exercising because they think they need to spend a bunch of time in the gym. You know, when I was 31 years old, so 21 to 31, I'd spend multiple hours a day in the gym, had a nice physique, super strong, super endurance. And for the past 10 years, from 31 to 41, which is me currently, I only work out about 2 hours a week total. So it's about 20, 30 minutes-ish a workout session, still able to stay lean and mean. And I'm not some internet bozo, got a ton of certifications, degrees, accomplishments here. I owned a brick and mortar for 10 years in Rochester Hills, serving hundreds and thousands of clients throughout that time with different abilities, different goals here. All right, so enough about me. Couple of client highlights here. So this client here is down 59 pounds in 9 months. He was on a bunch of medications, specifically some blood pressure and cholesterol meds on top of taking some semaglutides to help with his blood sugar. We got him off the meds. This guy travels multiple times in a month across states. So it's not just like from one city to the next, across states. So a lot of times in airports and traveling, and workouts were mostly done at home in under 30 minutes. Client number 2 here, I want to point out, is down 35 pounds in 6 months. He's a 24-hour shift worker, so on 24, off 24. So schedule is really crazy from day to day. Losing weight on almost double the calories from a previous diet. So we can see he's a little bit of a heavier guy, almost 330 pounds. We got him in the sub 280s so far, and our journey is still continuing, which I'm super excited about. But he came to me because the diet he was on before that helped him lose some weight was just really low on calories, and he knew that that wasn't sustainable. So we got him still losing weight despite eating a ton more food, stronger and more confident than he's ever been. And client number 3 here is down 12 pounds in 6 weeks. So just wanted to show you a quick win here. Energy and confidence at an all-time high. Feels so comfortable making great decisions. So he's had anniversaries and different work events. Of course, weekends, they typically do some family stuff and some traveling. He's even had a vacation during this time as well and still able to drop the weight. He's worked out more in the past 6 weeks than he has in the past 6 years. He just loves the workouts so much. They just easily fit into his schedule and challenge him just enough to keep him wanting coming back for more. So the reason I highlight some of these clients is I don't get paid to exercise. I'm not an exercise influencer. I get paid to get real people just like yourself results. That's what has allowed me to stay in business for almost 20 years now, is getting people results. So these next couple of slides here are all about us getting on the same page. So that's what the goal is here. When it comes to your health, I have a massive sense of urgency to take action. If your health just isn't that big of a deal to you, then this would be a good place to stop. If being healthy and living a healthy lifestyle just not something you really care too much about, then sorry I couldn't help you today. But if it is, follow along. Let's get on the same page here together. So what I want to represent in this slide here is, I can't tell you how many times I've heard, I know what to do, but I'm just not doing it. And you might have even have said that to yourself. Well, here's how I see things is, most likely you're in phase 1. You know what it takes to lose weight. You know what it does to lose weight, and you're not doing it because just losing weight is dumb and stupid. So all you have to do to lose weight is just eat less, and eat a lot less to lose a lot of weight. And that is miserable and really hard, and a recipe to just gaining it back. If you're familiar with the show The Biggest Loser, they had 17 seasons, tons of people lose 100 plus pounds. Over those 17 seasons, they had 0 reunion shows. All they did was focus on losing weight. They had these poor contestants step on the scale every single week, and they only celebrated if the scale went down. So what did contestants do? They ate a whole lot less just to get the scale to keep going down. That is a recipe for disaster. So you might know what to do there and not doing it, which I don't blame you. Just losing weight is stupid, and taking your calories really low is a tough game to win at. What I want to help open your mind to is, what we want to transition our thinking into is, you want to lose fat and build muscle. Now, you don't have to be Mr. He-Man here, but that's the mindset shift that needs to happen. Is it's no longer about losing weight. It's about specifically losing fat and building muscle. And because of that, it's a totally different game plan than just eating a whole lot less food. And then eventually what I'd like to do is get you into the mindset of being healthy for life. And with being healthy for life, there's also some different things that need to happen to allow you to be healthy for life than what it takes to just lose weight. So you might know what to do when it comes to losing weight, but you're probably a little bit unsure on what it takes to actually lose body fat and build muscle, and possibly a little unsure on what it takes to actually be healthy for life. And when I say healthy for life is, I mean energetic, full of energy, full of confidence, not being limited by your health. So with that being said is, I also think it's super important this is my base for being a dad. This doesn't have to be your base, but this is what I see as the perfect pyramid for being an amazing dad. And it has to do with your faith, your health, your wealth, and your leisure. So at the base of my pyramid is my faith and giving praise. And the next layer up is about being the protector. And what I mean by that is protecting your health, being the provider, which most of us guys take on that role pretty well of being the provider, providing for our family, and then being playful or playing with our wife, playing with our kids, creating a fun family environment. So this is the pyramid. This is what I think being an amazing dad requires, all 4 of these levels. And they're all so unique of each other, as it does take a lot of work to be an amazing dad, because all of these areas require a lot of attention. So with that being said, is what praise means to me is Jesus is the center of my life. What protector means to me is, your health and your family's health must be taken seriously, because the cost is too great. The cost of neglect is too great. Provider, most men think this is the number 1 priority, and money is very important, but not at the cost of your faith or your health. If you've been working really hard, that's very admirable, but please don't let it come at the cost of protecting your health. And then playful, the purpose of protecting and providing for your family is to create core memories and lessons that will be forever remembered and passed down. Don't forget to have some fun in your life. So what I want to represent here in this slide is, so now we know what it takes to be an amazing dad. Now we know, I know what to do, but I'm just not doing it. Hopefully you realize that maybe you don't know some things. Maybe you don't know how to build fat and lose fat and build muscle. So maybe there are some things you don't know. And what I want to represent here for the next few slides is what I call the boiling frog's wake up call. So if you're familiar with the story of the boiling frog, is if you put a frog in boiling water, it's going to jump out immediately. But if you put a frog in lukewarm water and slowly turn the temperature up, it will stay in the container and eventually get boiled. So that's the moral of the story here. But what I also think is, unfortunately, is this is what happens with a lot of our guys' health. Is we're healthy as young teenagers or young college guys, and then health becomes not so much of a priority. We end up gaining some weight, getting low energy, and that just gets worse and worse as time goes on. And unfortunately, as those get worse, it's pretty inevitable that some diagnosis is going to happen, usually something that's reversible, but nonetheless, some diagnosis, some medication required. Eventually, those numbers get worse, leading to something that's maybe not so reversible, of getting a diagnosis that we're not too happy about. So, I got guys who are like, yeah, I've needed to lose the same 20 pounds for the past, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. And I got really bad news for you. If you needed to lose the same 20 pounds for the past 20 years, that 20 pounds is so different than it is 20 years ago if you would have tried losing it. So we got to wake up that gaining this little bit of weight, starting to get on just this little bit of medication, noticing our energy dropping a little bit should be a major flashlights going off on. We need to start taking some action. So as these numbers here with the boiling frog, as these numbers here get worse, this is high blood sugar, high blood pressure, cholesterol off, you're gaining more and more weight. As those numbers get worse and worse, we develop this thing called metabolic syndrome. And it's a cluster of conditions that occur together, increasing your risk of heart disease, stroke, and type 2 diabetes. These conditions are increased blood pressure, high blood sugar, excess body fat around the waist, abnormal cholesterol or triglyceride levels. So what we're going to focus on is the type 2 diabetes, because unfortunately, that's where most people end up heading down. So with that being said, is a lack of energy is an early warning sign of insulin resistance. So becoming insulin resistant can lead to becoming pre-diabetic. Insulin resistance is thought to precede the development of type 2 diabetes by 10 to 15 years. So we start off by having we have some high blood sugar, then it turns into insulin resistance, then it turns into pre-diabetic, then it turns into diabetic. So a pre-diabetic diagnosis, if you get it, it is reversible. So remember with the boiling frog, we'll get that reversible, something that we can change. Is you have a 70% chance of it turning into diabetes without taking action. Many people with prediabetes could develop type 2 diabetes within just 5 years. So we went from insulin resistance taking about 10 to 15 years before we get pre-diabetic, but now just a quick 5 years and a 70% chance of becoming diabetic if we get to the pre-diabetic side of things. Type 2 diabetic, another reason why this is so important, especially if you're a dad, is if one parent is type 2 diabetic, your child has a 40% chance. If both parents are type 2 diabetic, there's a 70% chance the kids will also become diabetic themselves. So the environment is so important. Although you may not care about how you look, how you feel, your habits obviously inevitably are going to affect your kiddos as well. So here's all the complications with diabetes, just a bunch of stuff that we don't want. So also want to point out the cost of inaction. So a lot of people that I talk with talk about how expensive it is to either, eat healthy or get a gym membership or work with a coach or work with a program. But there's also a cost of not taking action. And I think it's really important to point that out. Is people with diagnosed diabetes incur average medical expenditures of over $16,000 per year, of which almost $10,000 is attributed to diabetes. On average, people with diagnosed diabetes have medical expenditures approximately 2.3 times higher than what expenditures would be in the absence of diabetes. So it's so important to remember is you're going to spend money one way or the other, either being proactive with your health and paying for the gym membership, paying possibly for some coaching, paying for the healthier foods, or you're going to pay for medications or procedures that you wish you would have spent some money on, because this side of things is way cheaper, let me tell you. So let's get into the nuts and bolts here. Let's solve some problems. So problem number one, the currently kind of every time you're hungry, you eat. Let's solve this. So having a high protein and fiber diet is how we're going to help keeping you feel fuller longer. So protein helps build muscle, increase satiety, which satiety just means the feeling of feeling full. So you have hormones called leptin and ghrelin. They let you know when you feel hungry and when you feel satisfied. By eating adequate amount of protein and fiber, you keep those healthy hormones, ghrelin and leptin, being better to recognize when they feel full and when they feel hungry. So they're not just wacky alarms going off at all times. Protein's also the highest in thermogenesis, which means it takes the most amount of calories. Your body has to work really hard to digest protein in a good way. So you end up burning actually a lot of calories with your body trying to digest that protein, which is great for trying to lose some body fat. So just know that your body has to work hard digesting and absorbing the protein. You get more of a calorie burn, which is good when trying to lose fat. It also helps control blood sugar as well. Fiber improves digestive health, increased satiety, just like protein, is super high in volume. So you get a ton of food with really low calories, and also helps control the blood sugar side of things. So we need to eat a high protein and fiber diet. Don't worry, I'll show you exactly what that looks like and how to do it. Problem number two is these energy crashes that we're dealing with throughout the day. So what I'd like for you to think about is a mindset shift into eating meals, not snacks. Most snacks are high in sugar and fat, and you're unlikely to snack on chicken breast. So that's why I want you to have this mindset shift of thinking more about meals versus snacks, because when you think about a meal, most people think about having some sort of protein, carbs, and fat, or a balanced meal. Versus when we're going to go snack, it's likely to be a candy bar, a bag of chips, a muffin, a donut, something quick and easy, which there's nothing wrong with those foods, but eating them all by themselves dramatically raise your blood sugar, which means you come crashing down, which then makes it feel like you need more food and comes crashing down. And we just get into this vicious cycle. Of course, so So thinking about meals, not snacks, will help with the blood sugar side of things. Also being, if you are really good at just eating meals, how I would escalate that is then thinking about, can you be properly hydrated? Because that's going to also help with blood sugar and energy levels. So making sure that you're drinking adequate water. And then we'd be fools not to address quality of sleep. If your sleep is trash, doesn't matter what you do, you're going to feel like trash. So we got to figure out a good cadence. What are the things that help you get better quality of sleep if you're already doing these other things as well? So let's solve problem number 3, this not being your first rodeo, being too restrictive or cutting your calories when you have tried to lose weight. Remember, we're no longer trying to lose weight. We're trying to lose body fat specifically, which is different than just losing body weight. And we're trying to build muscle. So let's dive into this meal plan. Let's make things a bit easier for you. So with this meal plan, what I want to highlight here is I want to feed you enough calories that you feel full all the time and that your body also wants to lose body fat. I also want to give you enough protein to make sure that you're building muscle. So let's take John Doe here. He weighs 240 pounds. His goal is to get down to 200 pounds. So I would put his fat loss calories at around 2,400 calories to start. Of course, we'll have to adjust this along the way, but this would be a great starting point. If you want to figure out your starting point, typically taking your current body weight and multiplying it by 10 is a good starting point. So 240 times 10 equals 2,400 calories. At minimum, I'd like for him to get 180 grams of protein per day. Now, if you're someone who doesn't track your protein, you have no clue how much protein you're getting in, most likely you're probably below 100 grams. At least in my past almost 20 years of experience, that's the case. If you don't know how much protein or you're not tracking it, you're most likely under 100 grams. So this 180 is going to be adding a lot of protein. So let me show you how to easily do that. And you don't have to go from, barely getting any protein all the way up to 180. We can slowly build you up to that as well. So with that being said is meal number 1 here, we're going to get you 46 grams of protein. What you're going to do is create this protein pudding. So it requires a serving of yogurt, a serving of protein powder, and a half a cup of berries. You'll add some whipped cream in there, 5 servings to be exact. Stir that all together. You're going to create a nice little pudding and then grab a handful of almonds on the side. That whole meal is going to get you 46 grams of protein and 515 calories. Meal number 2 is Amy Lou chicken burger. So all these products have links to them so you can know exactly what I'm talking about and where to buy these foods. So Amy Lou chicken burger at Kroger or especially at Costco as well, and a serving of low-fat cottage cheese. If you don't like cottage cheese, that's okay. We have plenty of alternatives to help switch that out with. This meal will get you 34 grams of protein and 230 calories. Meal number 3 here, what we're going to do is some deli meat. We're going to throw that into a low-carb tortilla wrap, and then we're going to have a high-protein, low-calorie yogurt on the side. And then meal number 4 is we're going to get you some sliced sirloin. It's already cooked, already sliced. All you got to do is throw it in the microwave, or you can even eat it cold. We'll have that with a bag of broccoli. That'll get you 58 grams of protein and 480 calories. So if you do the math here, all 4 of these meals already equal 180 grams of protein. So your protein is set. Now, all these meals do not equal 2,400 calories. In fact, the 2,400 calories, it only equals 1,545 calories. So that means you have 855 calories still remaining. So you can do whatever you want with these calories. Of course, I would recommend having more fruits, veggies, healthy fats, complex carbs. But if you wanted to throw in some pizza, some beer, some fries, some wings, you have plenty of calories, some sauces, some dips to go along with your food. You have plenty of calories to do that. So the purpose of this meal plan and making things a bit easier for you is just to show you how easy it is to get so much protein and so much fiber, and you don't have to do a ton of cooking in order to make that happen. And now, of course, I don't expect you to eat these 4 meals over and over again. So I've also included a list of what I call the top 30 pro-cal ratio foods. So this would be over 30 different protein options that are high in protein and low in calories that you could substitute in to continue getting high protein for a low amount of calories. The reason we like the low amount of calories and the high protein is it just allows you to have more calories to have more fun foods with. So that's a great list for you. I've also included how to get high fiber in your diet. So if you're a guy, I typically like you between 35 and 45 grams of fiber on a daily basis. So we can get veggie fiber, fruit fiber, nut fiber, and then there are foods that are not fruit, veggie, nuts, or seeds that are also high in fiber. So you can have any combination of these. Your goal is to get to about 35, 45 grams of fiber. So just to show you how quickly easy that could be, you could have a Mission tortilla wrap, a medium avocado, a cup of raspberries, a cup of blackberries. Those 4 items will get you 40 grams of fiber right there. So you eat your protein, you eat your fiber, whatever calories are left over, they're yours to play with. So hopefully that makes losing weight a whole lot easier for you. So with that being said, is some more ways to get some help here. So if you want that meal plan, if you want me to go through that meal plan with you, or you just want me to send it over, just send me a DM, send me a message, send me a text message, meal plan. I'll know exactly what you're talking about. I'll send you over this document and the meal plan for you to be able to tinker around with. If you want to set up a game plan call specifically for you, no cost, go through this game plan with you, explore a little bit more on how I help my clients, just visit this website, calendly.com/Vince-Turbrack/15-minute. Find a time that works for you. Happy to help. All right, hope this helps. Now it's time to go do the work.